Kassym-Jomart Tokayev voiced new initiatives in addressing global challenges at the main economic forum of the entire Asian world. This week, the president of Kazakhstan arrived in China to participate in the 23rd session of the BFA Forum for Asia. In his speech, the head of state focused on the issues of multilateral trade, food crisis and accessible finance. He emphasized that Asia is already leading the way towards a new era of sustainable development. For more important initiatives and no less important meetings in China, please watch our next report. The blossoming city of Boao on Hainan Island has gathered tens of thousands of politicians, businessmen and experts these days. The Boao Forum for Asia is a place for discussing key challenges facing Asian countries and the world as a whole. This year, the president of Kazakhstan became an honorary guest of the economic forum. Not for nothing did Ban Ki-moon, the chairman of BFA, personally greet Tokayev on the steps of the International Conference Center. Addressing the session participants, the head of state emphasized the important role of this platform as a center for dialogue against the backdrop of unprecedented global uncertainty and economic upheaval, noting that the outlook is not very promising.
As we approach the midpoint of a decade devoted to transformative development, the sober reality is that the global economy is expected to record the slowest half-decade of GDP growth in 30 years. Simultaneously, one of the major challenges facing the world economy is the ongoing trade tensions between major economies.
As emphasized by the president, the world needs a new multilateral trading system based on principles of fairness and openness. Tokayev stated that measures to improve fiscal and monetary systems, expand financial flows, will contribute to the formation of the competitive economy, making it more transparent and reliable.
Today, trade barriers, protectionism, and treaty withdrawals are gaining momentum, posing significant challenges to the global economy. Addressing these challenges requires elimination of unfair trade barriers, as well as making supply chains more transparent through digitalization.
The head of state also addressed the equally important climate agenda. The number of hungry people in the world is rapidly increasing, and in solving this problem, Kazakhstan can play a vital role. The president called on the global community to harness Kazakhstan's potential as one of the leading grain producers in Central Asia.
We must collectively enhance international cooperation by establishing targeted programs, collaborative agro-innovation hubs, and transfer of innovative technologies. Thus, the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, or the Middle Corridor, is the most viable path to secure supply chains between Asia and Europe.
Today, around 80% of all transportation between China and Europe is conducted through Kazakhstan. As noted by the head of state, in this regard, Asia is leading the way towards a new era of sustainable development. It is expected that this year Asia will account for 60% of global GDP growth, thus placing more than half of the world's trade in the hands of the Asian world.
Of the anticipated $30 trillion in middle-class consumption growth by 2030, only $1 trillion is expected to come from today's Western economies. Together, these factors point to a so-called Asian Renaissance.
To continue the discussion on all these important topics, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev called for further dialogue on the sidelines of the Astana International Forum in June. It's worth noting that AIF and the Boao Forum for Asia have already signed a memorandum of cooperation. It's known that one of the main speakers at AIF will be the chairman of BFA. This was agreed upon by Tokayev and Ban Ki-moon during their personal meeting. The president also discussed the implementation of bilateral projects between Kazakhstan and China with Zhao Leji, the chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China.
Overall, our friendship and cooperation with China are an unquestionable priority for us. We are aligning all government agencies to work closely with their counterparts in the People's Republic of China to develop relations of comprehensive strategic partnership.
During his working visit to China, President of Kazakhstan also held a series of meetings with representatives of Chinese business. For instance, during a meeting with the head of one of the world's largest machinery manufacturing companies, Zhang Wenbo, cooperation in the field of green energy was discussed. The corporation is already involved in implementing a project to build a 1 gigawatt wind power station in Kazakhstan. Daurian Asagulov, New Time.